Okay, microphone testing seems to be working okay. Worm, if we can go ahead and get you to do some noises.
Commence speaking noises.
Excellent, excellent. We're already doing wonderfully. All right, now I'm going to go ahead and bring up. Well, no, I don't want to bring up the live control panel. I want to bring up chat. There it is. There's chat. Hi, chat.
Oh, hi, chat.
Oh, hi there, chat. How's it going there, bud? I
So happy you could come out today, chat.
I love I love that as bad of a voice as that is. I actually look like the guy who could talk like that.
Yeah.
There's no denying it. Also, hi, Paper. Welcome to the stream.
Hiya, paper.
Ah, I think everything is working. We're streaming on YouTube this time. We're doing it a little bit differently.
Ah, the
Yeah.
YouTubes, are we?
Yeah, because
Ooh.
I got tired of having to download the video, upload it to YouTube, and then do a bunch of editing. And Twitch, on top of that, doesn't like me, and it keeps people from watching my VODs. And it's like, your VODs are subscriber only, and I keep telling Twitch, no, don't do that. How many times do I have to change you so you stop doing that? So eventually I just gave up. And
All the
now
times, clearly.
and now here we are. And we are here above all else to simply say, hello, my fellow adventurers! Welcome to the Ramblers Tavern. I am one of your illustrious hosts, Basil Not the Herb Strikes, and I am joined once again by the Beard of Wisdom, the Black Dragon of the Midwest, Wormhold. And we thank
I am here to entertain and enthrall.
and we thank you for joining on the only podcast that actually gets less in its budget the further along it goes. I'm not using I'm not using Tubi, and I'm not using my actual VTuber rig because along with moving to YouTube for better production, and or rather easier production, I also figured this is an audio podcast. This is an audio as in sound, not visual. Um the only thing is we just need to have our sweet models, like a representation,
Yeah.
a grand painted figure of ourselves. You don't need to see our models bouncing around. No, like especially at the budget we were already at. Just make it full audio and have a cute picture up. That's it.
Use your imagination, chat.
Just imagine us naked, and then you'll feel more comfortable. I know I
Yeah.
will.
And honestly, you're welcome.
Worm, what's new with you, buddy? What's going on in the realm of the Midwestern's most powerful dragon?
Um, Outer Worlds 2 drops in just about exactly 2 weeks.
Oh my god, we're that close?
We're that close.
This year has been ridiculously stacked with games, and like
It really is.
it's it's the same issue as 2023 where we're complaining about like we're complaining about like success, but then you're like,
Yeah,
man, I ain't got the time nor the money to keep up with all this.
dude. Like, for the time being, I'm remaining thankful for Game Pass despite Microsoft being dicks about the pricing. If only because I only have Game Pass PC and I got grandfathered in on that rate. Um,
Ah.
so like I got rid of my Game Pass Ultimate earlier this year because I realized, oh, I never actually turn on my Xbox because all of my friends play on PC and PlayStation, so there's no reason for me to play on my Xbox
No,
for anything.
but Worm, you're forgetting everything is an Xbox. So you're always playing on an Xbox, don't you see?
I hate it here. I fucking hate it here, man. Like,
I no, go ahead, go ahead.
like Microsoft's whole like ecosystem has gotten progressively more jank the longer it goes on. Like, I don't know how well you remember the days of the initial Xbox One of this is the only device you'll ever need in your living room ever again.
Dude, I remember the Xbox One doing that, and the only thing I could think of was no. I absolutely disagree. Even though I am willing to agree with people that PlayStation 3 and PlayStation 4 weren't doing enough at the time. Like, no, Xbox, you're not
Like,
him.
you're just not that
You're
guy.
not him, you're not her, you're not they, you're not them.
Not even Zim.
Not even.
So it was just like I remember when that like in that era being super excited because it's like, oh, I don't have to worry about like losing stuff on the DVR because the cable company changed their encoding ever again. This is gonna be great. Oh, I can actually plug my cable box into my Xbox. This is gonna be great. Chat, it wasn't great. Um, they had a great picture-in-picture mode that caused the Xbox to crash. So you could watch cable while playing video games for about 15 minutes at a time. Um, fuck.
So my whole thing is like I bought in initially to the Game Pass concept. The problem with Game Pass is the same problem with really any like subscription based renting service. Once I've had the thing, once I've had the thing that I wanted and I played it and I've done what I wanted with it, I unsubscribe. Like, I played the couple of games I wanted on Game Pass, and then got to a point where I'm like, oh, the game releases are... I actually wonder how much of this is everybody else's problem. If there are so many games coming out, even if you are able to circumvent the price issue with Game Pass, you can't circumvent the time issue. So, like, once you realize, oh, I'm not going to get around to playing any of these games anytime soon, and I'm just spending money on a subscription that I'm not actively using, it's like, I already am doing that with Final Fantasy. Why would I do this with Xbox?
I think that's really where it becomes really easy to see the weakness of that model is like anyone who has like multiple of these kinds of subscriptions. Like at one point I had Game Pass and PlayStation Plus, and it was just like I don't have enough time in the day or enough interest to be like playing any of these games for any good length of time and actually getting my money's worth. Like, I think there was 1 month I had Game Pass just so that I could get a discount on a game that I had been playing on Game Pass that was about to be taken off.
Mm-hmm.
And so I resubscribed to Game Pass to get that game, and then I unsubscribed.
Yup, and then
because
that was it!
cheaper than just buying the game.
No, exactly! So, like, the game that is on Game Pass isn't making the money, even though everyone keeps saying, no, Game Pass profitable.
Like, and I do love that this whole, the whole, like, price raising thing is, like, really proving that, like, oh, so it was never profitable for you guys. It was just you trying to outdo everyone else. And now that no longer matters.
There's absolutely no winning in this situation because either Game Pass was never as profitable as they were making it out to be, and that's why they rose the price, or Game Pass was already making more money hand over fist, And this is just them trying to get away with a greedy business practice. Like, there's nothing about the price hike that can be justified at this point. Because either it wasn't making money and the companies lied again, because big shock, or it was making plenty of money and they just got greedy.
Yeah. It's really unavoidable. And I guess one of my problems is always like, what part of what's clearly going on in front of us do they not think we're going to see? Because it's like, it'd be one thing if it was just like, oh, I guess I can see where they're coming from with this, where it could just be something super simple. You know, maybe the current gaming market is just not tenable for this month. No, it was always bullshit. It was always bullshit.
It's always bullshit.
No, because like I remember like the whole thing of like you see games that would lose support because they weren't quote unquote profitable, and then it's like, but it's an Xbox exclusive and everyone's playing. Oh, it dropped on Game Pass day one.
Yeah.
The reason the player base is so high is because no one had to pay money to play it.
Yeah.
Okay. It's like, so like, how was that ever going to make your studio profitable, Microsoft, when you're not actually making money off of the game, Microsoft?
Like, so add into the fact, so like beyond that, once you like, if you are not the person who has the time to play all these games in a reasonable fashion where the money ends up being worth it, and it's not because the money isn't worth it, it's because the time sink, the time necessary to do this stuff, and I feel like that is a currency that not enough people, especially like when they're younger, don't like fathom. I'm 32. I have responsibilities. I barely have enough time with my other hobbies to do stuff I want to do for more than a couple hours a day, which is fine. I'm not complaining about it. I'm at that age where I'm like, oh, I only get like 2 to 3 hours to play a game? That's all I need before I go to bed. But like, if you reasonably want to get through all these games that, it is an impressive library, but if you want to get through all of those games, you have to be a kid. You have to be someone who can spend tens of hours burning through these games to make the money worth it. And when you realize you can't, that $60 price tag doesn't look that bad because you're only paying the price tag once and then you don't have a time limit to play the game.
Exactly.
And add on top of the fact that like most of the games people are more in, like, okay, I'm going to put this on people. The games I was most interested in were indie games, which are only ever at most $40 max. So, it again just becomes easier to pay for a $20 game once and then be able to tackle it whenever the hell I want.
Yeah. Like, because once you start doing the math, it immediately stops making sense, right? Like, if you're talking about, well, I just got Game Pass to play, like fucking in, like I'm gonna be playing Outer Worlds 2 when it drops, all right? So let's say Outer Worlds 2 is what, $70?
Yeah.
When it drops, okay. Once I've hit $70 worth of Game Pass and there's nothing else I'm trying to play, I'm not trying to keep, like, I'm trying to get everything I can out of that game before I hit that amount of money.
Yeah.
Like, because otherwise, like, because the way I've always done it is, okay, I need to get this amount of playtime out of this game before I hit the cost of the game so that I can move to something else and continue, like, getting my money's worth out of Game Pass. So like it's like when you cycle streaming subscriptions, right? You know, the thing you really want to get out of it. You're not trying to pay for anything more than you're absolutely getting. That's all well and good. But then you look at something like a Game Pass, a PlayStation Plus, what have you. You over the course of a year, you've paid for at least 2 video games, and you're not playing anything.
You're testing the waters on a couple of games at best, but like you're gonna look back and go, oh, I never actually finished stuff. And here's the thing, we're primarily talking from our perspective, but like I feel like there's a lot of people who are having a similar perspective with us because the people who are spending the money on this are adults. Like it's not kids spending money, it's got to be adults spending for these packages and then realizing yeah, little 13-year-old Timmy's the only one getting anything out of this. Fuck it. Might as well just unsubscribe.
Like, and I don't think it gets enough appreciation. Exactly as you said, it's not. It's never the It's never the kids footing the bill for this. It's always their parents. If Game Pass had been a thing when I was like 12, I wouldn't have had it. I wouldn't have been able to sell my mom on that math because that math doesn't math.
No.
Like, because she would have just gone through the whole thing of like, okay, how much is that game? How much is the pass? What do you mean? Like, that's such a non-starter. Like, because I don't know what anyone else's experience was like, but like I used to actively like have to like do price breakdowns of games with my mom of like, okay, this is the amount of work I'm expected to do around the house in a month. This is how much the game is. Assuming this task is worth this much and this task is worth that much. If I do all of this, like look, I can clean the gutters or I can clean out the crawl space under the porch. I can do all this extra stuff that I'm not actively like expected to do, and I can do enough work to be worth the game. And then that's how we used to run it. Whereas like I could either save up my allowance or I could effectively work overtime, right?
Adding to the fact that
And
like we're a part of the generation where like rental shops and like GameFly were a thing. As
yeah,
GameFly's prices went up, it got harder to like convince. Like I remember
hmm
my grandmother coming to me and being like, "Guys, how many games do you think you go through a month?" And we say one or two, and they're like, and we even told like I was old enough when GameFly was around to be like I go through like one or two games a month at best, and that's still being a little fast because like I was still a kid who had
yeah,
to go to school. So like it took me like 2-ish months to beat Persona 4 the first time when I was playing it. And my grandmother was like, "I'd rather just spend the $50 on the game that you want to play for 2 months than spend $30 every month and you guys not actually playing these fucking things."
exactly. And it's like it's one of the weaknesses of the current like mode of the gaming industry, I guess. But like it's that like late stage capitalism we have to keep making more money thing of there's not more money here though.
Yeah,
Like
I love some of the like jokes that are being said online where it's like you fired everyone so they can't make money, but then you want them to still spend money so you can have all of the money. But when you have
yeah.
all of the money, no one has any money to spend. You've won. You've won, but also have lost because there is no more money to be had.
It's like you want us to put more fuel in the money machine, but you burn the money machine for fuel for the money machine.
It's just
There's no more money machine.
there's just nothing left.
So like there is a good deal of that like snake eating its own tail thing. But like it's really hard like as a gamer to continue justify investment in the system because it's like when if you look at a lot of the indie devs out there where it's like okay our game is only 5 to 10 hours long, right? Max. However, it's so fun you won't have any problem with replaying it on the regular just for the gameplay. Cool. AAA game studio. What's your deal? Our game is 14 hours long. It's immersive and full of secrets to be found. Okay, so what about New Game Plus? We're not doing that.
Also, the game is $100.
Also, the game is $100, but that's only for the deluxe edition, right?
If you want
Absolutely.
if you want the
No,
super
no.
duper deluxe version with a free blowjob,
It's like, okay, what if I just want the standard version? We don't have one. Wait, huh? Wait.
Yeah, no, the couple of times where it's like, we in fact don't have one. Either take the blowjob or we cut off your dick.
That's really how it feels.
And then on top of that, the blowjob's not exactly very good. It's a blowjob. Like, you can take enjoyment that you had a blowjob, but that is where that ends.
That's fully where that ends, and it's like this. The deluxe edition comes with all this free merch, but like, there's a reason your merch is free though, and it's not like it's a like that quality issue of like this should be free. No one should pay money for something this crappy, but it's branded. I get that it's branded, but it sucks. But it's branded. Like, our game comes with a free hat. It's a cheap like 2005 Hot Topic trucker hat. Why am I paying $20 extra for the game to get the trucker hat that wouldn't have cost me 10? Because it's limited edition. It'll be on eBay tomorrow, you fuck.
Oh my god, so like that's like the other thing too, is like we have this perspective, right? Of like, yeah, this shit, like it's old business practices that are still being done today. And it's like, we hated this when we were kids and we didn't have the ability to do anything about it. Now we're adults, have every ability to do something about it, and yet you're still doing the same crap and you're getting upset that it's not making the same amount of money that it made before. It's like, hey, it's not going to work. There's nothing left. You already fooled us once, and more of us are getting to a point where we can't do anything.
Like, and I could even, if it's that there's that whole thing of like, back in my day, I worked 40 hours a week and bought my own house, and it's like, yeah, but then you raise the price of all the houses behind you.
Exactly.
It's like, you know, back in my day, we only had 3 video games, and we enjoyed all of them because they had replay value. They were fun. They weren't cash grabs. I wasn't playing fucking Call of Duty 375, which is exactly the same as Call of Duty 374, but this time they've changed the color of the reticle.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
Like, and I hate sounding like such an old man.
No, you know what? At this rate, I feel like we are allowed. We're allowed to just be angry old men, as long as we're also willing to just have someone say, just, like, I feel like previously, we didn't want that, because we didn't want someone to point at us and say old. Now, I don't think that's a problem anymore. I don't think as we're willing to acknowledge it, if we're willing to have a child point at us and say, old, I'll be like, yes, you are correct. I am old, but am I wrong?
Yeah.
Sometimes I will be. Sometimes I will be wrong because I am just an old man. And I'm not afraid of that anymore. But because I'm not afraid of that, I'm also, like, aware enough to be like, all right, I might be old, I might be wrong, but am I both at the same time in this moment? Think about it. If you can prove to me I am, I'll shut up. I'll be the old man. I'll admit I'm the old man yelling at Cloud, but I've got a feeling that tonight is in fact not gonna be a good time.
Like, it is weird, man. It's weird, because, like, I remember being a kid and, like, assuming all adults had no clue what the fuck they were talking about. And, like, they'll all see, this is where it's at, man. I'm the one who's informed here. I get the stuff. And then, like, as an adult looking back, just like, I had no clue how wrong I was going to become and how mad I was going to be about it. But now that I'm here,
dude, I definitely spent the majority of my 20s. Like, looking back on it, it's like we always definitely like overblow how shitty we were. But like I'm far enough now in my early 30s to be like, damn, I really thought I was onto something. I really thought I had my shit locked down in my 20s. But like as I got older, I'm like, no. Like I was right, but like I would only get like maybe a 60% on the test level of right. It's like that's not
Like,
good enough.
or the thing of, okay, so I was correct. I was also wrong, and
Yes.
I have to deal with that. Like, because they don't really teach you how to be like. No one teaches you how to be right. Like, and so like, especially as like if you're like a gifted kid, you think, oh, if I'm correct, everything will work out because being correct is the thing that matters, right? And then you
Oh,
get there, it's like,
Jesus Christ, yeah.
unfortunately not.
I actively, man, that's something. That's really something.
Like, and I hate it so much because it always bears out, right? It always bears out. Nope, this whole time, being right wasn't important, and being correct wasn't important. But boy, would it have been nice to learn how to be both at the same time.
Wouldn't it? Wouldn't it be nice?
Like, I think back on all of the trash takes I had like as a teenager, and how up my own ass I was about them. Like, clearly, me being such an intellectual, I understand that the way things should be done is. And then I look back on that now, I'm like, what the fuck was I talking
It's
about?
like, okay, like yes, but also like it really isn't that simple.
It's not that simple, and it's not that serious.
But to kind of like circle this back around to like what we were saying before, like we're yelling and being mad about like Microsoft and the overall video game industry, but the big thing is like the worst thing that can happen, right? Is that the mass corporation of the video game industry collapses. But with the indie scene's doing just fine. It's, if anything, it's doing better than it was before. So all I can say is just bring it on.
Pretty much.
Let it burn.
Like,
We didn't start the fire.
The fire. Yeah, like it's the late stage capitalism problem of, oh, sometimes you can't fix a burnt soup, you just have to throw it out.
Yeah,
And
you
that's
just
okay.
literally have to start over.
Yeah, because like, I mean, anyone who knows me or has been paying attention to the show knows that I am a struggling Destiny addict. And I'm trying so hard to quit that game, and Bungie is trying to make it so easy for me to quit that game.
I don't know why. I honestly, I feel like the only way for you to quit Destiny at this point is for Bungie to actually physically assault you.
I don't have a problem. I mean,
like, you've been saying for the longest time about how this game still has you in its clutches, and I'm over here like, brother, a year ago I could understand with like what Final Fantasy 14's going through, but like my game, like despite what YouTubers say, FF14 is still good. Like I don't know how you justify it anymore, man.
Poorly. I justify it poorly, Basil. That's how. No, like it's to the point now that like my wife and boyfriend-in-law have like both like, because he plays Destiny as well. My buddy Taco Bob, he plays Destiny as well. But it's just like the whole thing of, look, I'm gonna get what I can get out of it, but I'm not really looking for a lot. And I'm over here like, no, I was made promises.
I was given a commitment.
So like, there's so many things where I'm like, I just have to last long enough, like in December they're coming out with this Renegades thing, which is legally distinct Star Wars, but in Destiny. And like
Whenever they
trying
announced
to
that, didn't a bunch of people bounce because it's just like, oh, no one wanted this.
like there was a little bit of that, but also laser swords. Um
I mean, I guess, but I'm also one of those bitches that's like absolute fantasy nerd, and like
yeah,
the more like futuristic sci-fi you put in my fantasy, the more I dislike you.
I get that. Like I think one of the things that really got me into is like from like a storytelling engineering standpoint of how are you going to make this work in a way that is legally distinct enough not to have Disney banging down your door? Like what is the thing that keeps this from just being Destiny flavored Star Wars? And I don't know what it is yet because Bungie won't tell me how this is anything other than Destiny flavored Star Wars, but I am also willing to read that fan fiction. So
So,
there's like
so this is what I'm confused by. I thought this was like a collab with Star Wars. Star Wars.
I don't know how deeply the collab runs at this point because at first I thought it was a full on collab. Like they like I know it's done with like it's like with the blessing of, but very much hey make sure you don't say Jedi or lightsaber or
You
like
can't. It's the Venom movies where you can't say Spider
yeah
Man.
you can't say Spider-Man. It's that kind of deal, right? So like the lightsabers aren't lightsabers, they're praxic blades, and the Jedi aren't Jedi, they're members of the praxic order, which doesn't explain why the dark Jedi have lightsabers because they're not like the word they have for them has already existed in Destiny, this group called the Dredgen, but they were never quite the Sith, but now they're the Sith all of a sudden.
Oh, I'm sure that went well with the lore nerds. That basically just like canonized and like altered the lore of
Yeah.
Destiny. I'm sure like that
So
went
it's
over
like
really well.
because like it's they're a good fit for the they're well not the Sith per se as a Star Wars nerd, but like at least as Dark Jedi they're a good because like but like they're a good fit for Dark Jedi in the same sense that the Guardians are the analog for the Jedi. Like we literally serve the light. And the Dredgen followed the darkness. But now the darkness doesn't mean evil and the light doesn't mean good, so none of that shit matters. So it's like they kind like Bungie kind of missed its opportunity to do this whole thing about like 3 years ago.
I'm gonna be so real. Like I feel like they. I'm kind of on the side of people who didn't want this to happen, period. Or at least, like,
Yeah.
add lightsabers, fine. But, like, don't, like, actually put any version of Star Wars into Destiny. Because that was one of the big things that, like, people were happy about, I remember. Is that Destiny was like, no, darkness is not inherently evil. Like, mind you, I don't think Destiny ever earned that shit. I don't think it ever earned the right to properly explore that at fucking all. But the fact that they like made that canonical of oh dark and light, it's a matter of perspective, and then like
Yeah.
you then
Like
want to add the Jedi who. Hot take. Also, I don't think explore that concept very well.
like they've been teasing like because they deep in the lore this is not so that we run into very often as like your standard Destiny player doesn't really know anything about the Praxic Order. We just know that they exist. We know that they are hardline extremists for the light. um they go out like and find guardians who have quote unquote fallen to the darkness and take care of them. Shifty eyes. um like they like some of them are cleansed, and we don't know if that means that their connection to the light got reset or if they're no longer among the living. So
Oh god.
and so coming to this, where it's like we already know that the Praxic Order aren't necessarily good guys, right? they're like they're like inquisitors, basically. You know, they're the ones who show up with the thumb screws talking about some. I don't know if you love Jesus for real. Let's find out. And so for them to be cast as the Jedi in this expansion versus an empire that isn't the empire, but an offshoot of an empire we've already fought in the game, who are already in and of themselves a good fit for the empire, but now they're the good guys. It's the whole thing.
See,
Anyways,
like, you're explaining more and more why I don't like this, though, because, like, it was already there. Like, they're not doing anything of real substance with these correlations. And by saying, Destiny crossover, it's like, but you're already, sorry, a Star Wars crossover, it's like, but you're already biting off of Star Wars to such an nth degree that this is not a good idea. What the fuck are you doing? Why did you not just do your own thing and get laser swords? You already have laser swords in the game!
So, there is a possible answer to this, and it's worse than being unoriginal.
Okay.
This was set up before they got acquired by Sony. Like,
right.
The groundwork for this move was set up before they got acquired by Sony. Now, some people in the industry believe that the reason for setting all of this up was simply to make Bungie more appetizing to Sony. So, like, the diversification into making a Destiny gacha, and like there's some talk about a Destiny TCG that might be coming out at some point, and this sort of thing. All of this, like all of the IPs they've registered at Bungie, like they've got a couple of games that they've registered IPs for. Of course, they've been working really hard on getting Marathon to the finish line, which is ironic to say the least. But like all of this is just to make their studio look more appetizing to a larger company, and so it was just so that they could get under Sony's umbrella in time for Sony to be able to save them from themselves. Which is disgusting.
Yeah, but like, I hate this on another level now, because this just goes back to the concept that, one second, no, Barnaby's right here, okay. This goes back to the concept that, to the whole the original thing that we've talked about before, where Sony got handed such a raw deal because, like, Destiny was doing okay, and to have all of this stuff placed in, and for Sony, like, I hate saying I feel bad for Sony, because in a way, there should have been way more, like, investigation. But, like, at the same time, like, Sony, unlike Microsoft, does regularly buy up companies and dev teams without firing people. Like, even if they shut down a game or studio, they keep the people. Sony does not have nearly as bad of a track record, to my knowledge, of just, like, killing people's jobs. So, like, it makes sense that Sony was like, business as usual, we'll take this up. And for the heads of Destiny to be like, lie to them about Star Wars.
Like, that's the thing, right? It's like, it's not even to the extent of lie to them about Star Wars, but like, it's, hey, I know we don't have the resources we need to, like, really nail down a really good Star Wars expansion. Like, the place we're at in our storytelling doesn't really work for it all that well. But imagine if we could go to this job interview looking like we've already got the job. It's like I spent the last five grand in my savings on a good suit to go apply for a job at this law firm.
It's all or nothing, baby. It's all or nothing.
I either get the job or we're losing it all. And it's like
God.
I think that's where Bungie was at with it, where it's like, hey, we diversified as much as we could. We've got all these irons in the fire, and it looks like we've got the talent to make it to the finish line. We're not going to make it to the finish line unless this shit pans out, and this shit has to pan out. Like I know Destiny's numbers on Steam are as low, if not lower, than they were at the previous low point, which was during their Curse of Osiris expansion a few years back, where they lost a bunch of the player base due to like poor pacing and bad writing and stuff like that. Um, and honestly, just like not being in a good place of like like there was a spike in the player base, and then like due to the pandemic, and then folks started going back to work. Um, and so the rebound on that was pretty harsh. And this does not have that excuse.
Mm-hmm.
So it's becoming very like hard for them to justify their current numbers. And during Curse of Osiris, Bungie was like weeks away from shuttering the game. Like this game isn't doing the numbers we need to justify keeping the servers up, type shit.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah,
yeah. And so right now, the only reason they're not like lighting the signal fires in that same way is like, listen, all we have to do is get to Renegades. Like even the content creator space around Destiny, a lot of content creators are like, hey, I'm gonna be playing other shit until Renegades. I'll talk to y'all when it.
yeah.
And that's a bad place to be for any live service game, right?
No, it
Um,
absolutely is.
like when you have a cottage industry surrounding your thing, and that industry dries up in anticipation of what you're going to do next, like that's not good. That's not good. Like I might end up quitting Destiny cold turkey through no fault of my own. You know?
You
But
I feel like you need to at this point. You need an intervention so bad to get the fuck out of Destiny.
like
You're educating me and I'm like, yeah, man, that's why I dropped it like 3 years ago.
like the only reason I've stayed in Destiny as hard as I have is because Destiny is very much like tailor tailor made for my interests. It's high fantasy meets space western, you know, meets third like first person, good mixed medium first person action type stuff with really deep lore. I love that. You know, when Destiny One was out and people were playing about like, no, the lore is deep, but you can't get the lore in the game. You have to log on to the website to access the lore you've unlocked. I'm like, oh, that's fine. That's what I do when I'm like at school or at work. Is I look up the Destiny lore that I've because I
Mm-hmm.
love reading all of it. So
Yeah.
like Destiny, for better or worse, is laser targeted for people like me. um, it's just that the way it's being handled is so piss poor that it's aggravating. And I keep like logging back in. By and large, let me be honest, I'm
Oh.
I'm a diva. I'm a diva. I love being able to dress up my characters. It was one of the things that kept me in Cyberpunk was like I was downloading mods to get new clothes in the game because you know fashion is the real end game, you know. And that was the thing that kept me coming back for Destiny. And then it's like, oh, this expansion is really fun, and the all right, I'm gonna keep playing. Like, but really, I came back because there was a nice new cloak in the game. Uh, no, I'm with you, Shad. It's gotten to the point where almost no one can like justify it, including the people that make their money off of the game. Um, the fact that I know, like, this is probably going to be my last Destiny expansion. Renegades is going to be my last Destiny expansion, one way or another. But it's just like it sucks to have your investment in an ecosystem not pay out, but especially when you know that it's due to mismanagement. Um,
I
like
feel like I really do feel like if I could get you to take the plunge, maybe not entirely Final Fantasy 14, but I feel like 14 or a game like it could replace Destiny for you. Because it's a game where you can look up lore and do stuff on your own time. You can play through the game at a pretty quick pace nowadays to get through the main story. And then when you're done with the main story, a main story that you can easily go on adventures with your friends, you then go into the late game grind, and the late game grind can be as casual or as hardcore. And as someone who has just recently been through their do hardcore raiding arc, hardcore raiding in Final Fantasy is not worth it. Just stick to getting cool mounts and cool outfits and hang out with your friends. I swear to God, if I could get you into Final Fantasy, I swear it would replace Destiny for you.
Hey, look, I get closer every day, but it's like I keep like, cause look, Bungie, if they're good at one thing, it's like in the same sense that like Ubisoft is really good at like fucking like immersive sandboxes, right? Uh, but putting shitty games in those sandboxes.
Yes.
Bungie is really good at drip feeding big damn hero moments and making you feel like the biggest damn hero who's ever existed on the planet, who has the hugest of dicks, and everyone loves them because of course you're just that badass, and no one has to actually state it. That's what Bungie is really good at, right? There was the moment where like you first get the prismatic subclass where like it takes all of the powers that your Destiny subclass has, mixes and matches them, and says, "Hey, have it all." And it's like, I am a god. I am a god. Like,
okay,
because like you go from being like, oh, you're the scrappy underdog who gets it at the end of the day, to you are the god killer and the first person we call when the god descends upon us, to no, you're just a god.
Worm.
Like they do it really well.
Hey, buddy. You know what other game does that exact same shit really, really well?
Listen here, you little shit.
Like, the biggest hurdle to getting into 14 is just paying, like, the $15 sub every month. However, you, my friend, can literally go through the first part of the game and the first 2 expansions for free. You don't even have to pay for the damn game, and you can go through, like, a fourth of the content to see if you even fuck with it.
Listen. Okay, here's my biggest problem with it.
Yes.
I don't particularly vibe with the combat system.
Which is very valid. If you're just not in for tab targeting, I can fuck with that.
Like it's a thing I've wanted to get into. I started in on trying it for a little while, and something else immediately dropped and smacked me into something else, and I never got back to it, and that's on. But like it's never really been my thing. One thing I'm trying to do. Yeah. So one thing I'm trying to do this year is I'm trying to really take the time where my addiction game isn't worth playing to play a lot of games that I like had been thinking about but hadn't gotten around to. So I started playing Crime Scene Cleaner, and that's been an amazing experience. Surprisingly therapeutic as someone who cleans for a living. Same with Pressure Wash Simulator. Like, just I've been surprised by how much fun I've had with that. Getting back to games that I have that I never got around to playing, a la like I never finished Outer Worlds originally. I got back to that just in time for the second one to come out. I'm gonna start a new Shadowruns Hong Kong playthrough. So that's get back to something a little more isometric, because I think one of the things that Destiny has really taught me is I personally have forgotten how to enjoy gaming. Mm-hmm. Like I remember back in the day of like playing, like Devil May Cry 3, where it's like, yeah, I've beaten this game like 400 times. I'll never get sick of this game. Meanwhile, there's games that I've played for like 15 minutes and never touched again, right? So like really redefining my relationship with video games is something I'm taking very seriously this year. It's been kind of helpful to like have really good games to like get into. As you well know, I had a really tumultuous relationship with Cyberpunk.
Dude, I loved your run of just making everything. It's like, okay, yeah, I get it. Like, Cyberpunk does look fun, but like, there's still so many like glitches and stuff, and you're like, I can fix her. I can fix her.
I was so convinced. Man.
How did that adventure end up going? Like, did you ever like get to a point where you were satisfied and could just finally let it go?
Well, between mods and the devs sticking with it, the game became playable. And that then became what was so tumultuous about it was the mods would put in fixes for everything wrong with the game. The devs would then fix the game so the mods would no longer work. So you'd have to clear all the mods and start from scratch to get back to like the perfect version of the game that you've been playing. It was just like this constant back and forth of, no guys, we fixed the thing, it's good. We already fixed it, stay out of
it. Well, it's our game, so stop messing with it.
Which leads to the space that CD Projekt Red is in now, where they've just been like, "Hey, you've done some high level coding to fix stuff in our game that we've been struggling with for ages. Do you want a job?"
Which I feel like should just be the response, even if you're not gonna hire them like for a long period of time. Like, just
at least contract work.
Just contract them for a little while. Like, I feel like if we lived in a world where that was a common practice, I feel like things would be a lot better.
Well, it's like there's a modder whose name I can't remember at the moment because it's like his initials and some numbers, but he designed a mod for Cyberpunk called Let There Be Flight, which gives you flying cars. And Mike Pondsmith and the CD Projekt Red team have been very like vocal about, yeah, we really wanted to do flying. But when we did our initial meeting, we had to delineate what was a trivial and what was a non-trivial task. Like, is it going to be worth the amount of effort we'll have to put in to have like a flying car system in the game? And so what you end up with is, okay, it's not worth the effort to put in a system in the game to have flying cars. We're like, there's paths that flying cars in the game take so that you can interact with the flying cars. Like, in the sense of like a traffic system for flying cars. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It wasn't worth the time, effort, and money it would take to implement that, because then you also have like environment isn't interactable. It doesn't have like collisions and whatnot, especially like on the 50th floor of a skyscraper, because you're not supposed to be able to get up there. If we give people the ability to get up there, we have to do all of this stuff. Well, what this guy did was to say, oh yeah, no, fuck all that. I'm just going to give you the ability to make your vehicle fly.
We're just gonna do this. Like, it's not that deep.
It's not that deep. It's like, y'all are thinking about this way too seriously. Like, look, people can ask why your character is the only one with a flying car on. It doesn't matter.
Well, not only that, but I think it would also doubly not matter if, like, to get the flying car, the adventure your character has to go on is so, like, very particular, like, to where it's like, yeah, there is a reason why only your character has the flying car, because they did this really stupid, adventurous thing, like, that no one else wanted to do. It almost is like it makes your character feel cool for doing stuff, hint, hint. But I can't talk too much shit. I definitely have been, like, super in the weeds in, like, a thought process before. So like I get like why they didn't, or like it's like, oh man, we got a bunch of other things we gotta take care of.
Yeah.
But I do love how it's like, no, just take this on more simplistically and you'll realize how much fun this actually is. This is almost exactly why, like, as much as I like Pathfinder and as much as like Draw Steel as tabletop RPGs interest me, I thoroughly just like more rules light systems when running, because it's like, hey, these are fine rules, these are fine like mechanics that you can build on, but you don't have to, versus something like Pathfinder where it's like, we have a rule for pooping.
Exactly.
Like, on one hand, I'm glad there's a rule for pooping, but why? Because I can tell you right now, like, besides the one time that I need it, I'm never gonna need it.
That's what they all say.
That's what they
Anyways,
all say.
but like it's very much like I appreciate that when my like because I was watching a interview Mike Pondsmith did about the whole process of getting Cyberpunk to the finish line of very much like in the room everyone has so many amazing ideas and all of the ideas to make it into the game, but then you have to stop and ask yourself how are people going to interact with that in a way that feels like it belongs in the game in a worthwhile manner of like, okay, we can have like as far as like implants go, there's a now infamous side quest in the game featuring everyone's favorite goofball Jesse Cox, aka Flaming Crotch Man.
It is it is the best thing ever, and I feel like Jesse will hold on to that for the rest of his life as like the hype of his career, and I don't blame him.
And like the central cybernetic implant in that is it's a prosthetic penis called a Mr. Stud. And this character's malfunctions and starts to raise in temperature to the point that it is at risk of catching fire and exploding. And that's a thing that in the actual tabletop of Cyberpunk 2020 your character can have. Like it does have actual gameplay function for like charisma and seduction roles, but like it's very much like when you stop and think of it from like a video game perspective of how is this ever going to become a thing unless it's like this one specific interaction that can change because you have, right?
Mm-hmm.
And are we going to put that into the game? No, we're not going to put that sort of thing into the game. We have enough stuff to keep track of. We've already pared down the tabletop system a good deal to make it less clunky to play the game. So why would we add more clunk? You know? And I think a lot of game development does fall under that auspice of, okay, is this cool? Sure. Is it a thing that people are going to actually be able to interact with on a regular and meaningful basis? Okay, maybe we say that one as like if we get the time and we find the way. But otherwise, why don't we just go ahead and table that? I know one of the things a lot of people were disappointed by in 2077's release was the loss of wall running, which was in the
trailers,
the initial gameplay trailers, and it became a thing of the amount of stuff they decided to give you the ability to do. They couldn't get the interactions with wall running to work properly. So it was like, hey, we still want you to be able to drop down from a ledge as a stealth assassin with mantis blades and rip someone's head off. We can't make the coding on that work with the wall running. Which one is more important?
I as someone who is desperately wants to relive the Assassin's Creed fantasy, but without Assassin's Creed, I can tell you it's the dropping down from the rooftop and shanking a bitch.
Yeah. So it's like it very much becomes like that balancing act of what can we do? What can we justify doing? And of course, then and do neither. Anyways, but like that's a very real part of like game design that I did not understand when I was growing up. It's like, but it would be so cool. Why wouldn't you? That's dumb. And then realizing, oh, someone has to find a way to make the game do. I apologize for my outburst.
uh so the I'm not sure how to transition into a new sub talking point because like we've talked a lot about the stuff that you've been juggling with, but I'm also like I have no qualms. This is fun. I love hearing about like this cuz like you unlike Destiny, you eventually like let Cyberpunk go and you're finding fun in other games as you mentioned before with like Crime Scene Cleaner, which I still really want to give a shot. That sounds so much fucking fun.
Like, it's because Crime Scene Cleaner is like one of those games that's like, oh, I'm so glad this is on fucking Game Pass, and so like I'd been playing it on Game Pass for the longest, and then it's hey, we have a beta for the next update. Cool on Steam. Ah,
On to Steam we
on
go.
to Steam we go. So it's just like very much Game Pass is now just like I guess I'll try a couple of games and figure out what I want, especially like
It really,
in the
it really has become like a. All right, let's pay $15, try this game out, and then go buy it later if I like it.
yeah, and it's especially in this like this new age of we ended the console wars. You can get anything anywhere now, and it's like I for the longest time I was trying to figure out how I was going to get back to owning a PlayStation. It was like I don't really feel like dropping $700 just to play Spider Man. I don't have to. Hooray!
No, for real, and I'm 100% in that same boat of even though Ghost of Yotei is like not getting as much like hype as like Ghost of Tsushima did. Like there are some valid criticisms of Yotei. Um I absolutely still want to play that game when it comes out on PC because kind of like how Destiny has like some aspects that are tailor made for you. There's a lot of stuff in Yote that they do more of than they did in Tsushima, which is like side questing and like character narratives outside of the main quest being a little bit more interesting because I find that stuff to be more fun to me than like I've always wanted like my dream game is a game that plays like Skyrim where you go out on your own adventure and do all these different side quests, has combat that is similar to something like Devil May Cry or Zenless Zone Zero or something in that vein, but has no main story. You are just going off and going on adventures. That's like my personal dream game. That you're just some dude who picked up a sword and tried to make good. Which a lot of people our age would be like, "Oh, so you're talking about Fable?" And I'm like, "Yeah, but Fable is not a good game."
Yeah.
I
Also, Fable's whole like Fable tries so hard to be a game that it's not interested in being, and I don't understand why.
honestly,
It's like, hey, you want to play an RPG? Yeah, too bad. Here's a third action video.
here's a
What?
third-person action game that several of our contemporaries have learned to do better 5 years ago. I
Like,
I
I
never fully
played Maximo.
understood.
I played Maximo. Why am I playing Fable?
I super never understood Fable's hype, save for like, oh, you get to... that was the era when like being able to bump uglies with a digital character
Yeah,
was like a hot new thing.
like Fable was one of the first games I ever heard of where you could get like an STD in the game. Um, you got it by sleeping with a reanimated corpse, but anyway. Um, look, the less said about Peter Molina, the better. Um, but there's this whole thing to me of like when I want to say it was either Fable 2 or Fable 3 came out, where like they were really hyping, oh, there's so many customizable weapons. And what they meant was we loaded the game with a bunch of assets that could be um, uh, mixed and matched in a couple of ways to make different weapon looks. But we only have so many weapon effects. And they didn't tell you that part. So like a lot of people came into that game like, oh, I'm gonna build exactly the weapons I want and be so OP and Q. And it's like, I mean, actually, there's about 20 real weapons in this game that are worth having. So
yeah, and they all end up playing the same, and it's
yeah, like, well, we have an in-depth morality system. It's like,
no, you fucking
you
dude.
you don't.
Oh my god, I remember playing Fable 3, and like by this point, I had already played Infamous, and like Infamous does not have like difficult like choices of whether you want to be the good guy or the bad guy. But even though I didn't like playing the bad guy, and I still to this day don't, I did like seeing what the bad guy choices became, and I'm like, oh, these are actually well written, kind of interesting. I do like the drama and the different perspective. But with Fable, it was be mean or don't. Kill this character
Yes.
or don't.
It largely has no real effect. And I think one of the places where that was super clear was like the whole like when you become the ruler of the land at the beginning of Fable 3's end game. And it's like, here's all these choices you have to make. You can either be a horrible ruler and save the realm, or you can be a great ruler and doom like 50% of your populace. Or you can save up all the money in the world, still be a good guy, and make it out. You can cheat by having someone give you the money, and then you automatically clear the bad stuff and do the good stuff instead, and then you can just give the money back. And it's like nothing ever happened.
That's the shit that always bothered me, because like I never did the whole like buying a bunch of properties. Like I never did that in Fable. It just wasn't like an interest for me. So then you have you literally have that bit where it's like, oh, well, if you had bought up properties, you would have more than enough money, and it's like, okay, but this was presented as an optional thing. This was supposed to be optional.
Like, silly Basil, why didn't you just become a landlord?
Silly Basil, why didn't you just become evil? But I didn't want to be evil. I saved them, yeah, and then you sold them a nice 3-bedroom apartment.
Like, that's how it works, don't you know?
Listen.
Real heroes are slumlords.
Listen. Everyone knows it's everyone's favorite fantasy dream. It's a part of the fantasy to go out, kill an evil tyrant who's butchering their people, both literally and metaphorically, with a tax code, to slay dragons that hoard wealth, only to then become said tyrant and dragon who hoards wealth. Like it's obviously what everyone wants to do.
I mean, listen, you find me a game where, like, after slaying dragon, you can dragon, I'll play that. I absolutely will.
It's called Dragon's Dogma.
Damn, you're right. I've been debated. It's just like there's something so out of touch with the way studios have handled morality systems, where it's just like, it's super rewarding. It's not. No, it's not.
No, it really isn't. Like, it's why, like, I really only, like, will kind of take seriously the games where it's like, you can either be a good guy or, like, honestly, I feel like The Witcher 3 is one of the best examples of a morality system, and it's because you don't entirely have a clear-cut, like, divide. of what the right answer for any particular
Yeah.
situation is. Like,
I think
you can have people properly debating on whether or not to do some of the choices in there. But even then, I would still agree with people when they say, yeah, but Witcher 3 doesn't really make it clear which choices matter for the end game. And it's very true.
That's also very true. I think like there's a quest I really like in Witcher 3's last expansion, Blood and Wine. That's just like, oh, there's a woman who's been cursed to have bird-like features, and the only way to break the curse is to like reunite her with her true love or something. But like the only you either turn her back into a human and she has the lifespan of the bird, or you turn her into a bird and the bird has a lifespan of a human. And the guy she loves, you can turn them into birds together. But they don't get to live together for like happy ever after as people, and that's the one thing you can't give them. And so it's like, which is the better option? Which is like the more like just option? Because either way, they don't get the lives they were promised, and it's like that's for you to decide in your playthrough, and that's the only right answer. And I really appreciated that. It's one of those things where it's like I love games where it's like everyone's playthrough will be different because everyone will make different decisions because there is no optimal decision to be had. I think that's the best way to handle it. It's one of the reasons I love like Mass Effect 3's morality system, where they don't really. It's not even really a morality system. It's a like personality system. Like, are you polite or are you rude as shit?
I would
Like,
also say that like the thing that kills me with the way that Mass Effect in general uses that system is that like it also runs into that problem of if you are like in a perfect world, I could be an asshole to some people and then be absolutely like kind to other people. But the way that Mass Effect wants you to do it is it really wants you to only be kind or only be a dickhead.
hey, paragrade for life. Anyways, um, like there's something I find really
I needed a whole like 10 seconds to understand what you've said to me.
yeah. I was very much on
No,
that like
no, I'm not letting you walk away from that. Paragraph,
no.
you son of a bitch.
Like literally like it because like I was on that like listen, how rude can I afford to be to this bunch of assholes I have course of this game? Like, look, I can't shoot Sarah in moment one in Mass Effect, so I have to get my somewhere else. And sometimes
You're
that
cutting
means
out. You're cutting out really bad, or I don't know if you're
oh
like talking away from your microphone or not.
oh no. Let me move this thing up a bit. How's it now?
Much better.
Okay. Like the bad people you interact with can't just be like shot in the face moment one, so you have to have dialogue interactions, which is like it's what the studio is known for. So like I get it. But like there's so much of it that it's just like I understand that the person who would have to do these things in life would have to play nice with like the warden of this prison you're trying to a prisoner. That would be a really involved, complicated process of getting the right signatures on the right paperwork. Conversely, what if we punch him and take the prisoner?
Oh shit.
So it's like the balance of okay, you know what? I'm not a bad guy. We can talk this out versus actually screw you in particular.
Screw you, you son of a bitch.
You son of a bitch. So like don't get me wrong, Mass Effect is far from a perfect franchise.
What are you talking about? It's so good. It's never done anything bad.
not, nothing bad has ever happened in Mass Effect. What do you
Nothing
mean?
bad ever happens to BioWare. What?
Uh, like I look, don't get me wrong. I wish there was such a thing as a perfect video game studio. I wish there was. Um like I love Larian Studios. Like they do great stuff, you know? But
Mm-hmm.
like everyone's fucking up somewhere. It's just a matter of figuring out where. Um so like no one's claiming that anything in the gaming sphere is like perfect. But there's something really interesting about interacting with the process by which games get made because it makes it a lot easier to judge like the end product. So when you're playing a game and you're like, huh, all these characters have really dead eyes. And y'all have been making this game for however making it. That's a weird thing not to fix considering you never had that problem before. Even in the
I
games you made over a decade ago.
I love that's where you went with this. Man, these characters, I can't see the souls of these digital characters.
Like why like and you designed this interaction for me to stare directly into their eyes for an extended period of time. So you must know that this is disconcerting, right? Why are you making me do this?
See, where I get cut off when it comes to specifically Larian is like kind of the same issue of what was being mentioned with like how you don't really mess with the combat of 14. Man, maybe it's ADHD or maybe it's just the fact that that level of turn-based combat bores me to tears. I just don't
Which is
think
so
it's
valid.
I just don't think it's very good. I fully understand why people like it, especially because like I even like did some of the goofy stuff. The idea of like, oh, like I went to go fight the hag in the early part of the game, right? But like none of my characters were nearly strong enough to kill her. So I kept reloading the game to put them in a position where they could like push her into the pit that like literally just kills her if I push her down there. And like I spent like a solid hour doing that, and then I stopped and I'm like, all right, it's cool that I can do this, but this was such a waste of time. I would have preferred playing a game whose gameplay I actually enjoy.
You want to enjoy the games you play? Oh, so entitled.
No, I mean, no, I mean it's also really weird. I'm a 14 player. I should be playing the game and then complaining about it every 5 seconds.
Like, I do think there's something to be said about that, right? Of just like, there's a weird interaction between what works in games versus what doesn't, and how precious some studios get over their right to make bad design decisions. uh, like, hey, if you don't want to play the game, just don't play something else. It's like, okay, I was asking you to make your game more fun to play so that we could keep playing it, but if you just don't want me here,
Yeah, and
I
like
guess I'll leave.
And like that's like a similar attitude that a lot of people have been having with like the developers of like 14, because like people will be like, well, if you don't like what they're doing, go play something else. And I have also been those people. The thing is, I feel like there is a middle ground where it's like, all right, what about these things do you not like? And I feel like this is now where I get to rant about things.
Please.
Um,
Embrace the salt bath.
There are absolutely aspects of the game in 14 that need to be better. I'm looking forward to combat getting revamped in a lot of ways where like a handful of classes feel like they're way more fun. Like painting in broad strokes, there's a lot of classes that just do not feel comfortable to play with the rotations that they're given. There's way more talk about like just getting rid of positionals because like, for instance, in the Monster Hunter collab fight, there is literally like that entire fight is a non-positional kind of fight, And I feel like I'm having more fun dodging the mechanics and paying attention to the monster when I'm not trying to be like, oh man, I gotta get behind the monster, and I gotta get inside of the monster, and like having that back and forth dance. I feel like some classes could have positionals be their bit, but like I'm very much in the mindset of, no, just get rid of positionals. The only reason we have positionals is to like control how much damage output we have. But like we've been doing this for so long that it's really not necessary anymore. Like positionals are just not that important, right? Then from there, like you've just got a lot of people where it's like once you understand how the class plays, people get bored with it very easily. There's all the, like my personal biggest thing right now is we need more like mid-core content. I didn't fully understand how badly we needed more mid-core content until I tried going into the Savage tier. Shad mentioned in the chat earlier that they're someone who plays in the Savage tier, and this is the big thing. Shad has time, and I'm not like trying to like, it's like, no, it's just the reality of it. People like Shad have time and a desire to actually put many, many, many hours into the game to get through that Savage content. And because of that, they're able to get through it at a pretty reasonable pace. But for me, I have maybe 3 hours. I'll be honest, I have maybe 2 hours a day that I can spend putting into a game and actually having fun with it. When we're done with this podcast, I'm going to play FF14, and I'll have 2 hours to time to play before I go to bed. Now, if I wanted to really, and I mean really, push myself to play FF14 and get really good at that hardcore content and spend 3 hours, 3 to 4 days a week to like burn through that stuff and like really get through it, I could. But the problem is I have other interests. I have other hobbies. I've got other things I like to do with my friends. And I don't like the idea of being dedicated so much to just one thing. And, like, I'm not, like, coming at other people who are like, oh, but I am that person who likes being dedicated to just one thing. That's awesome. Good for you. Can't be me. And I feel like we've seen more and more how badly, like, we need to get out of the idea of, oh, the only other thing you can do is just, like, the Savage content, just the hardcore raid content. What they recently released with, and I'm saying all these things are like, these are genuine problems. These are things that I agree that 14 needs to do. And these are things that they're kind of working on. They're playing with the idea of making one of their more, I guess, controversial experiences, the deep dungeons, be a little more interesting. Because there's an optional hardcore fight at the end of the deep dungeon that you can play. And it's got similar difficulty to, like, Savage content, only you don't need 8 people to play it. You just have to go through and grind through, like, a dungeon floor of, like, 100 floors. Now, add into the fact that you can get a cool weapon out of it. Add into the fact you can unlock a fight where you don't need 8 people and you can really test your mettle. I feel like this is a perfect direction of where the game is going. Now, go back to the Monster Hunter event and add in the fact that you can get armor and weapons from an extreme that get close to rivaling the Savage content. Like, there's so much stuff to try and so much cool things to get. And while the Savage content has been outlawed enough now to where it's like, all right, cool, if you didn't do the Savage content, here's your next big thing. We're seeing the developers try out new stuff and give bigger rewards, stuff that I myself have been wanting to see. And you just see more people complaining about it. The new extreme for the Monster Hunter event should have been like the old Monster Hunter event where you didn't have to try as hard. The new Deep Dungeon, no one should care about. Deep Dungeons suck. Who's even playing them? Give us the new super duper chocolatey difficulty fight that will finish in like a month and then complain about because these fights are not meant to be played by normal people, and thus the concept of balance and good game design is brought into question. give us our character alterations, blah blah blah. It has gotten to a point, and I am just such a jaded fucker that I'm like, I am not the people who are complaining about these issues, even though I also agree, yeah, we do need more mid-core content. We do need more content that doesn't need 8 people to dedicate 3 hours a day to get through at a reasonable time, or bust. We do need more stuff. But then again, I'm also that bitch that only wants to log into the game maybe twice a week and then go run tabletop games with my buddies after. I I'm realizing more and more I'm not the person that lives in the space of what MMOs used to be. And there's so many people complaining, no, but it should be this. And I'm like, brother, can you even live that life anymore? Is that even a reality you can feasibly live?
No,
You're like really far from the mic all of a sudden.
Yep, hold on.
My co-host died.
And I'm back.
What happened?
Had my audio got buggy there for a second.
Oh, no
but
worries.
I fixed it.
Yay!
Like, I think it's really, and I guess this is kind of like us being elder gamers now. But like the struggle of like having to be really intentional with the time you spend gaming, right? Whereas like there has to be some accessibility for time in any like gaming ecosystems, just so that you can like have the opportunity to enjoy the game. And if the thing is, I know like with Destiny, one of the big things, the reasons I don't do high level content is it's like, okay, the raid is going to take at least 6 hours because we all had to get familiar with each other and the systems involved and all the encounters. Some people are going to be better for things. We have to figure out where we fit in, and then after we do all of that, we can actually run the content, and the content is going to be punishing, and we're going to fuck up a lot, and we might not get it all done, and we'll have to come back. And I don't have a dedicated raid crew. I don't have a lot of free time when people have free time. So like the chance for me to do that kind of stuff is like, hey, either someone asked me to tag along, barely keep up, or I stay my ass out of high level content, you know. And I think I understand why that stuff exists, because there are people that like they will make a game their entire life, you know. It either falls right into the right, like they have the right free time slot, or they're willing to sacrifice other things for it. Like one of the things I've like put a lot of work into not giving up is being available for like tabletop games, because I really love playing tabletop.
Yeah.
If I can keep one tabletop game in my life at all times, I'm cool if the only time I ever spend an hour de-stressing afterward. You know, super low impact, not doing anything strenuous, just, you know, like give me like a chill game with some lo-fi playing. Hey, I just need something to help me wash the day off and get into bed. What's that gonna be? Most of the time now it's Sink Cleaner, which is weird to say after spending 10 hours cleaning and then go an hour virtually cleaning up bodies and blood, but hey, I'm a weirdo. But it's just like when you find what that thing is, like as an adult who has like responsibilities and obligations, it's just like my body knows how to do the thing and my brain eats, so that's what I'm gonna do.
Yeah. And again, that's where it's like this is where like it's always like I don't disagree with what people are saying. Like, yes, Combat does need a bit of retooling to be a little bit more interesting again. Yes, I think the story was way too all over the place this last expansion. Yes, there needs to be like one of the things I'm really interested to see what Yoshi does in the future is having like modular content. So their game plan is to release less variety of content, but have each aspect of content they create have different varying difficulties and having different rewards for that. And I'm over here like, oh, that's super interesting. I like that. Where like you can experience the fight and the fun of it and like get cooler and cooler stuff if you do the harder stuff. And immediately, oh no, change! This not what want. This not want. Give us what want. Give us more of thing already. It's like you can't. Please. I know we've talked about a bit like this return to the podcast. I feel like is almost like a FUBAR episode because we're just bitching about the things we've always bitched about. But like, it's a good warm up to how the rest of the podcast can go now that we're back again.
Hell yeah. Like, but it is like it's a really like it's very, it does sound a bit at times of old man yells at cloud, but I do believe it's a really important uh point to hit of, as we enter a space where gaming is increasingly less secular, right? Where it's like gaming isn't just for gamers, everyone has a game. You know? In that kind of world where like gaming isn't counterculture, and it's weird for something to have gone in any sense of the mainstream and still be trying to gatekeep through struggle. Where it's like, oh, you're not really a gamer unless you've like missed an important meeting because you were trying to finish the last level of X game. It's like, bro, I wish I could be about that life. Unfortunately, my bills are still due. So if you don't mind, I gotta log out and I gotta go to work. I don't want to do it either, but I gotta.
Yeah.
You know.
And it's...
And so like when it...
Go ahead.
Go ahead. I was gonna say, so like when it comes down to it, it's like I had to be really like conscious of the time I'm putting into stuff, because like there may be that one boss that I know I can beat if I just spend a little more time, but like it's a 20-minute ride to work and I should have left the house 5 minutes ago.
Yeah, and I'm in that same realm where it's just like I literally cannot be that person anymore. Not even entirely as a situation of, oh, I can't afford. It's like, nah, I just have other interests and other things going on. That being said, and something I want to always add in a good way to I think get ready to wrap up today's session. Like, I don't want these people to no longer get what they want. I don't want, like, hardcore raiders to not have hardcore raids to play. I don't want, like, the people who do dedicate themselves to one game to not have anything. But there is a point where if you genuinely feel like the game is not doing enough, and you've done everything the game has to offer, I understand. But, like, I guess, like, physically or, like, mentally and, like, how my brain works, I don't know if I'll ever grow to it. And I think we've talked about, again, this is the retread podcast. This is the retread episode. I don't know if I'll ever grow to appreciate the people who are like, no, but I just want this one thing to be it. I want this one thing to be what defines me. And I'm like, that sounds hellish. That terrifies the fuck out of me. I could never. And, like, I'm running, like, way too many tabletop games, and I still would not want, yes, Josh is the tabletop RPG guy. It's like, no, that's just, like, a big part of me right now, but it goes back to when I got popular making Monster Hunter content, and then, like, I got really depressed when no one would watch anything else I talked about if it wasn't Monster Hunter. It's like, I don't want to just be the Monster Hunter guy.
Like, I had an interesting thing with an association that I ended, where like I thought I was building a friendship. Turned out he didn't feel the same way. And then when we tried to like move forward, I'm like, oh, if you actually wanted to be, I'll actually put forth the effort to be your friend. I just thought we were stuck in the same place all the time. But yeah, no. And then it's like clearly his idea of who I was. Oh, this is the guy that's really into Batman. I'm like, bro, no, it's not. Like, yes, am I into Batman? Yeah, but it's not. Oh my god, Batman's so cool. It's there's this ridiculous thing called Batman, and it's super ridiculous, and it knows it. But every now and again, it tries to take itself seriously, and not on my watch.
Yeah. And like again, going to the idea is like, well, what about the people who like if someone is dedicating themselves so much to this, like they should have in a weird like not a say, but their opinion or their ideas should be respected. And again, it's never that simple. My counter argument to that is yes, someone like that's perspective should be considered and their words and ideas should be held with some level of importance, but you cannot complain about not liking how a pasta dish tastes when all you eat is burgers.
Yeah.
And then if you complain about, oh, this burger's not good enough, I mean, yeah, that's fair. You know what you're talking about with burgers, but like you're talking about like, oh, burger should only be this one thing. I know because I've only eaten burgers. It's like, but you've only eaten burgers. So like, sure, I take into account you know burgers, but like one, there's not one way to make a burger, but you're really particular because you're an expert on burgers. But also, buddy, like tomatoes and lettuce and all these other things that can make a good burger are used differently in other dishes. And that's why this burger seems so different. Because it's not just being a burger, it's being a burger plus. FF14 is
Yeah.
not just trying to be an MMO, it's trying to be an MMO and this, which, hey, there's a conversation very much to say. Again, 14 wants so badly to appeal to hardcore players and casual players, and they're kind of fucking that up. They've been fucking it up for a few years. There needs to be not more content, which is like, the player base should not have been listened to this intently. Like, it's not the issue of we need more content, it's we need more replayability. We need more reasons to keep playing the content. Because even, like, the couple of hardcore raiders I know, once they've beaten the new raids, they're like they're done. It's like, man, there's nothing else for me to do. And it's like, well, yeah, sure, I guess, but like you could do the like other classes, like you could play other classes and do the raids again. But I now know what it takes, like mentally and time-wise, to do those raids. And then it's like, well, the extremes aren't good enough. It's like, okay, but like the only way for you to enjoy this game more, like to spend more time in it, is to wind down and do something that's less intensive. You're complaining about, oh, I need something intensive, but I don't want something intensive. But the intensive content's the only thing that does it for me. It's like, yeah, because you don't go out of your normal comfort zone. You're not willing to engage with the other content, let alone other games, but you're not willing to engage with the other content to do stuff. Now, if you are someone who is done all the crafting, done all the gathering, done all the extremes, done all the raid content, why aren't you just doing something else or just enjoying a break? I don't. Again, this is where like my brain doesn't work like other MMO like MMO players. There is a point where I like that I can take a break and go do something else because like, oh cool, I'm caught up, I've done everything I want to do, can't wait to come back. But like, I'll never fully appreciate the people who are like so dedicated to just one thing that either they do everything they want to the point of like depression, or they only focus on one aspect of that thing they dedicated themselves to and then turn their nose up at everything else. Because that's what it turns into.
Yeah. It's really hard to watch because, especially like as someone who is a fan of things, right? Where it's like I fully want people to have the thing that they want out of the experience, but I'm also like, I can also say, everything isn't going to be for everybody all of the time. So like one, setting your like win condition, right? Which
Mm-hmm.
is actually a twofer because it's like one, what do I actually want to get out of this game, and how do I get it? Is this where I get the thing I'm looking for, or do I need to find something else? Also, like in the instance of like, oh, uh, insert game that I've like spent money on, it doesn't give me enough challenge. Well, that's also a thing you can change for yourself. Like no one in like the idea of like the Nuzlocke is not a thing that's built into Pokemon,
No, and
right?
it's something people created on their own.
So it's like, oh, here's this game I really enjoy. I would enjoy it even more if it was more challenging. How do I make it more challenging? Well, if there's equipment you've been given in the game, you get to choose what you do and don't use.
Yeah,
Is this fight too easy with all of the equipment available? Don't use all the equipment available.
I think like we actually have kind of circumvented around to like what the situation is, and it's that it comes off as people wanting to be served rather than engaged. Because you're right, like going back to 14, when you've completed everything and you're like, well, the only thing left to do is like to do these fights again with other classes. It's like, okay, but I could do the same thing in Monster Hunter. I have done the same thing in Monster Hunter. I have done Lawn Sword, Dual Blade, and Charge Blade. Alright, I've done this enough time with several weapons. I have no more interest in Monster Hunter for now. I'll go do something else. And then the next Monster Hunter game comes out, and if it's good, I want to do all of that again. I want to get good at all the different features. But if it's not particularly good, okay. So it's like, I guess what I'm trying to say is like, there is this middle ground where people need to sort of like understand how much they're putting themselves in a box and how much they could put themselves either in a different box or just expand the box and then
Yeah.
like have a good time with it. But instead, they're
No.
like, no, but give me the thing. Like, I don't want to have to do any extra work. Like, I remember at one point, one person I was talking to was like, but like, they were basically saying like, yeah, but outside of this hardcore content, there's nothing else. It's like, dude, your hardcore content is the kind of thing that like I, as a casual or even mid-core player, will spend the rest of my time trying to beat, and you beat it in like a couple hours. Like that's great. That's something that you should be proud of. But you gotta understand that like there's no way in hell anyone can cater to the desire of like, yes, make this even more harder. It's like you're not even like 10% of the player base. The fact that you burned through this so intently, like, is both a triumph and a sad fact. But at the same time, it's like, you gotta go elsewhere. You gotta look for more things. You can't just stay here and be mad that the game doesn't do what you want it to do when, like, if you take a step back and you look at it, you're like, yeah, there's a lot here, actually.
Yeah, because like no one would be looking at like a 10-year-old game saying they haven't updated this game in years. You know?
No, you would have just stopped playing it.
So it's like it's so weird to see like the take of how come I'm not being given the thing I want, because this isn't where you get it.
No, you have to go other places and try other things. And again, there's something to be said about like mastering something. But once it's been mastered, you either just relax and just enjoy the reality of it, or you find a new challenge. You can't. Speaking of, we're just walking in circles now.
Yeah, we really are. Like
I'm
circle
100%.
aside,
I'm 100% labeling this comeback episode as "Don't watch this. We're just old men yelling at clouds again."
Just old Angie boys.
No, I'm just gonna call this yelling at clouds again.
Again. Sorry. But like, there is something to be said about that. It's like it. It kind of to me reminds me of the whole like when folks get really mad at like the idea of LGBTQ stuff finding its way into games, and it's like, no, they made me kiss a man, bro. You pressed the button.
You're the one who went that. Yeah, but like the meta score that I need is behind this one romance. It's like, all right, there's something to be said about that there, but something tells me you don't really need that. Like
Like,
mm, mm.
like can you 100% the game without it? Actually, yes. So what are we talking about here? So like that I think that's kind of like the long and short of it for me is like when it comes to gaming, a lot of your experience like full on like there's certainly a talk to be had about what is made available to the player uh like in like intrinsically to the game like promises being kept and the like. But at the end of the day, the games you play are kind of on you, right? Like whether like you may not enjoy every game you get, you may not enjoy every gaming experience, but you're the one making the choices of what games to play, where to put your energies. Put your energies in places where that energy comes back to you. That way you
Yeah.
have less reason to be dissatisfied with the gaming experiences you have. If you know you don't like racing sims, don't pick up the next big racing sim. I know for a fact when Forza Horizon 6 comes out, I'm going to be playing it because I do enjoy that series. Like I enjoy the way they integrate the real world environments into the way they build, drivable, raceable streets. But also, if I didn't, I wouldn't be picking up those games. Like you don't pick up a racing game talking about there's no combat here. Like, of course not.
Well, to also add my own final point, one of the people that I'm kind of like talking about went and played. They moved over to a game called Throne and Liberty, and it's one of those games where you either grind the shit out of it and it's pure PvP, or you spend money to skip the grind. And I'm just like, this is what you traded Final Fantasy for? You traded this for a Korean MMO? It's like there's so many worse problems going on here, but their answer was, okay, yeah, but I'm actually enjoying the content. Like I get it's not for everyone. I see the bad business practice, but I have the time to invest and I have the desire to invest it, and I'm barely spending any money. Same thing with Gotcha. It's like, all right, you know what? As we're agreeing that this is not the best, but you're jiving with it, so like, what can I say? I gotta be a man of
Yeah,
my
I
own
mean,
morals.
because we both had that conversation about Destiny Rising, where if it wasn't for like all the weird AI stuff that they that
We
they
would be
are so
playing it.
committed to, like we would both be playing it. Like I'm not a gotcha guy, you are. Not a Destiny guy, I am. We were almost together on Destiny Rising, and then we ended up together on Destiny Rising, and not the way that we thought we would.
and
Over like
then,
weird
and then
business
instead,
practices.
we had that mutual dislike of AI voices.
Yeah. So it's just like there's always going to be an experience for you elsewhere. And the long and short of it is we're talking about games here, people. Are you having fun or not?
All right. Do you want to holler at the people and let them know where they can find you?
I am your good old Uncle Worm, aka Worm. You can find me dang near everywhere as Worm. Excepting on Twitter where I am the underscore Oracle. Don't ask. It's a long, boring story. It's not that long. It's just old and boring. You can
Like
also
us.
find me just like us. But yes, you can also find me on AO3 under the same name, and where you can find the literary works of myself and my wife. We make decidedly black focused romantic smut. It is really good stuff. You can find us there under either Wormhold or Rage Tastes Lovely. You can also find these same works on Literotica and Wattpad under Rage Tastes Lovely as well.
Thank you for being here. I am Basil Strikes, your other old man. You're generally going to find me here on YouTube going forward. You can find me on Twitter and Blue Sky on Basil Strikes or Basil NTH. I'm primarily going to start uploading some audio readings of some TTRPG related short stories I'll be writing. So keep an eye out for that. And I promise future podcasts are going to be more focused and more interesting. I feel like we both just needed today to just bitch and moan about stuff one more time. It's been like a month and a half before we've been able to do this again. We had to warm up. This was the warm up episode. Next time, next time we'll take a little bit more focus and interest and get things going. But I liked this. I like that we kind of came back, and I'm glad that this YouTube stream actually went pretty well.
Heck yeah.
All right, we'll see you guys next time. Thank you for being at the Ramblers Tavern, the only podcast that is just trying its damnedest and failing miserably. One more time, I cut you off almost.
And if that's not life, what is?
Ba-da-ba-ba-da-ba.